Welcome, everybody, to Keep Your Torch Lit podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Jack.
And I'm not Sarah. I'm Aliza. Crazy.
Wow. What a surprise.
I want to start this off by starting the same way as I've started every conversation I think I've had with you, Aliza, over the past 2 years, and just say, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going, actually.
Where do you think I was going?
I thought you were going to make a joke about like schoolwork or homework or like, hope you pass your exam tonight.
Oh, that would have been a good one either. Too.
Yeah, but that
as well. But also, I just have felt so bad about taking your game kind of unintentionally.
No, you're totally
since
fine.
That happened. So, yeah, I mean, we'll definitely get into all of the details, but yeah, and you definitely were not happy with me in this episode.
No, I ripped into you. I was going to say, I feel like I have to apologize for like,
I deserve
you a new one when this episode opened.
Well, one of the things I love about this podcast and like Jack being on season 4. Every time we have like a guest, it's like we get to see the banter between like two people that just played on the season. So
yeah,
that's fun.
That's good.
Yeah, Sarah, unfortunately, she could not make it this episode because she just moved to San Diego. She's very busy with moving stuff right now, but we have a very wonderful replacement this week. So happy to have you on, Aliza.
Thank you very much.
Episode 6, Survivor Dreams. What an episode title we got there.
Yeah, that's like relatable content, Survivor Dreams. Do you guys still have Survivor Dreams?
All the time.
Yeah.
They
do happen.
Mine like went away, but now that like when the seasons come out, they come back. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have dreams about like specific moments or anything anymore. It's always just me playing Survivor with like the most random cast ever. Like It's always just like me, Ozzy, like I don't know, some random person from like Alicia from like season 2 or something, and just like we're all on some random all-star season, and and I'm trying to look for an idol, and they're gonna vote me out. Yeah, but it's still just always just mostly paranoia dreams. I feel like just shifting casting characters around.
Yeah. Do you know? I don't know.
What?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Finish with that. I was gonna say
Sorry.
Oh, you.
See, we're already just butting heads, Aliza.
I know. Going at it.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like I never wake up from my Survivor dreams feeling all good and happy. Like Katie said that she fell out, like she has Survivor dreams and she woke up feeling great. I always wake up in like a cold sweat from a Survivor dream. But I don't know, maybe that's me. Sorry, you go ahead. What you were saying.
I was just going to say, like, do you ever have like reoccurring stress dreams? Like I have some reoccurring stress dreams and I feel like they're all kind of like specific to different things in life or whatnot, but my parents specifically always talk about like the dream of like not studying for the exam before going to like the class or whatever and having to take the exam. And I feel like Survivor could be one of those of like haunts you forever, even when you're old.
Oh, definitely.
So here's a dream I would like you guys to interpret. This is from Dale on April 17th, so it was a few weeks ago, in the big group me that has everyone from Survivor Michigan in it. I just woke up from a dream, maybe nightmare, where I made a song/music video about Akshay to impress his dad, whom I thought was Lionel Richie. The song was to the beat of Can't Hold Us by Macklemore, and it was pretty dope, to be honest. I wanted to chalk this up as another bizarre Survivor dream, but really there was no strategy here. I just really, really wanted to meet Lionel Richie.
I mean, I respect that. I'd want to meet Lionel Richie too. But in terms of what it means, oh gosh, I feel like there's endless possibilities.
Performing it for Akshay's dad, that's just that's just I don't know what's there. That's so much. Dale,
so specific.
Is it bad that I don't know who Lionel Richie is? Like, does that like mean that I have bad music taste?
I think he's just like older, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, he's a legend.
You know, for Dale's generation.
Old Dale.
I think that's.
You probably recognize like some of like. I feel like some of his songs or whatnot. But
you know, this episode title might be Survivor Dreams, but I kind of think that maybe it's a bit of a nightmare because we've just lost Camila and Aliza back to back. It's pretty brutal.
And Ben before that.
Before that. I mean, honestly, could go all the way back to everyone in this cast, honestly. It's been brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal Brute Order.
Yeah.
Sad to see.
Makes you not excited to see what's coming up. I feel like we're on our toes now.
Ooh, we are.
It's been interesting to kind of see these past few episodes because a lot of the people who've been voted out were people from El Norte, and those are people who I maybe didn't get to know as much. And so it's been really fun, like seeing their confessionals. Like Camila, I met Camila a couple of times before she was voted out, but like she's so funny in all of her confessionals, so it's been fun.
Oh yeah. And speaking of like all those earlier episodes, what was it like to have that layoff between season 3 and season 4? You only had like a couple of months between playing your seasons. Like,
no, I didn't even have a couple of months. This is what was like kind of crazy about is like I was asked to like commit, yes, I'll play season 4 about a week after I was voted off from season 3. Like I remember I was on an airplane either going home for Thanksgiving or coming back from Thanksgiving from Michigan. And Matthew Israel was like, are you going to play? Yes or no? You got to tell us now, which is bizarre because that means Matthew Israel hadn't even committed yet. But like, I remember I had to make the decision like literally a week after I was voted out. And I was like, I'm still mad at like Aaron. Like I can't commit to playing a whole new season right now. So it was definitely a quick turnaround in that department. But I don't know. It's also kind of funny because I guess we had like returnees had kind of started playing over winter break, like we were all talking or whatnot. So there wasn't actually like I feel like a full break, but it was then or never to play again. So it was fun.
Yeah, I feel like I started texting you like specifically like pretty early.
Yeah,
like, I was just like, I had just like seen you play obviously, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Aliza. I love just watching her, and like she seems like she'd be somebody who'd be good to be partnered up with, you know, get a little Sabu thing going, and then yeah. So I So I remember I remember texting with you just like a lot over winter break and just like trying to like strategize and like get on the same page before the season started.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember we were talking about dolphins, but I can't remember now why. That just came into my mind though. But
dolphins?
Yeah, I feel like I was probably in Florida for winter break, which is maybe why. And I also really like dolphins, but that is what comes to mind when I think about our preseason conversations.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Did you guys also have like some sort of like code words where like you guys like we're gonna text each other different like code words so people then know what you're person like?
I had Jack in my phone as John Halal because I thought that like ha and LOL reminded me of being tickled and like Tiggle sounds like tickle. And so it was like his secret code name in my phone so that like a contact couldn't pop up, like a conversation wouldn't pop up while we were like chatting with other people. And we always text each other like about like making it like framing our conversations over like homework. Like if you had to go to tribal council, it was like, good luck with your exam tonight. Like, I hope you pass.
We're just like study buddies, you know?
Yeah, we were study buddies. Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to remember do you remember what your name was and mine? Because I can't remember.
I don't know. I also had Ben in my phone as Bethany Hamilton because Bethany from Ben, and then Hamilton because of the Roddenmeyer pamphlet. And I can't remember what I had Matthew Israel as. I think I had him as like Meredith, like Jeru, as in like Jerusalem, Israel. I don't know. I had like weird code words for everybody.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that. Gotta go like you say like instead of strategizing, be like, oh, gotta go study together.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
I'm so bad that I failed that exam again. Like after like when my tribe lost, you know, when I lost like 3 times in a row, whatever. Just like you keep acing the exam.
Yeah. And I always recorded things with my laptop, and so like messages would come through every once in a while, and so I felt like we needed to like have a little secret language going on or something, you know.
Because we knew how bad it would be if people knew that the attorneys were working together.
Yeah, what a shame that would be if people knew that the attorneys were working together.
Yeah, can you guys talk about the whole like returnee alliance and like, because I feel like it wasn't really shown a ton up until like the last few episodes, and it was kind of like, you know, there's this weird stuff going on where you and Matt were like warning Jack before the Ben tribal. Like, what was the whole situation?
Yeah, well, all the returnees like met and talked pre the beginning of the game. Like we all met at like Espresso Royale and had a conversation where we're like returning strong, and I think everyone was like probably a little skeptical, but I think within that we all kind of had relationships that we felt better about. Like I actually felt pretty good with Jack, and then Matthew was probably one of my closest allies in the game, and then Ben and I never overlapped. But I feel like it was like an automatic person who you like knew and like maybe in some ways felt comfortable with. Like for example, I think Sam, I was telling you this like past week, but like Matthew was someone who I did most of my season 3 confessionals with. And so like I felt so comfortable telling him things, and like it was just like automatically easier than it is with other people. Even if like Matthew and I have very different like survivor strategies or whatnot. And I don't know, Jack, if you felt like similar in that regards.
Yeah, definitely. But and like that kind of also reminds me of another thing I want to talk about just our relationship through the game, is that I feel like we did a very poor job of communicating to each other. Like I feel like we had like this weird kind of like song and dance around like telling each other things. Like I feel like I think that's probably just like being on like different tribes, you know, and like not really, and like because if you had more of a connection with Matthew, like we didn't really have any connection other than talking about dolphins over winter break. You know, but like I feel like that's one of the things I kind of look back on from this season, and like I don't know, I always think about like what would have happened if I actually focused more on, you know, being more upfront with Aliza and like telling her more things, and like trying to like also at the same time like get her more on my side, because like I feel like our relationship became like this weird thing where like, I mean, you obviously were like a lot closer with Matthew just from, you know, being on a tribe with him, but also like there's such like the specter of like the returning alliance. It was like seemed like such a dangerous thing, but then like we actually weren't even really like that close. So like I wish that if people are going to find out about the returning alliance, we actually had something closer.
Yeah, I mean I kind of see it kind of differently, because I think I actually did feel pretty good. Like I know that we didn't have maybe the strategic relationship that we could have had, but like I don't think I necessarily felt so super like tight knit with Tokidoki to the point where like I legit was gonna flip. Like I think that if I made it to merge, like I mean I was like when I found out that you leaked that we were talking, like then I was like rageful, but like pre that, like I was like if I could maybe have gotten either Matthew or Shannon, and I think both of them would have been willing to flip with me, like I totally would have jumped ship. Like you had me, like I was like, I just don't think like, I think I really enjoy, I think maybe phrasing it like, I thought you and I had a good relationship just as like on like a personal level. And I also think that like what you had built in El Norte with your alliance reminded me a lot of like what I had on Savu Savu, and that's what made playing season 3 so fun for me, was that like type of relationships and scrappiness and like tight knitness. And I think I like saw that in what you guys had in El Norte, and I was like, yeah, but that's what I want. And so like even if it maybe wouldn't have made most sense for me to jump ship, I feel like I was like feeling like bored on Tokidoki, and I was like not as excited on Tokidoki. And like really I think if we had made it like an extra round, like we could have stirred some shit up.
Totally. Yeah, I guess kind of what I'm saying is more that like I definitely felt like we had like a great like social connection almost. I just like wish that like,
but not like a strategic connection. Yeah.
And like I feel like there was potential for that strategic connection. Definitely like after merge, I feel like that would have probably blossomed into a beautiful strategic butterfly. But I just wish that I had done more work on it prior.
Or even just like, maybe let's say you guys trusted each other a little bit more with information, and you went to Lisa and said, hey, by the way, is it okay if I tell Megan and Camila about this alliance that we have and see about like working together, or like things like that maybe would have like.
But you didn't do that, and I said absolutely not.
I'm gonna do it anyways. I think I might have even asked you if I could after I already did. I think.
Yeah, that probably like based on what I've been seeing, I think that lines up.
You said no in text, like
well.
And I think the hard thing that happened was that you didn't tell me that you told them, and so then when I found out, I was like super shocked. And Jack, this is super niche, but I was double pissed because I texted you and I was like, I'm pretty like we need to talk, like something just happened or whatnot. And you're like, okay, yeah, like I'm out to dinner with my mom right now, but can I get back to you like in an hour? And I was like, yeah, get back to me in an hour. And then like an hour and a half later, you texted in the like big group me of Michigan Survivor, and you're like, watching Survivor season 1 right now. Like this thing that just happened was so funny, and I'm like livid because I'm like, he just destroyed my game, and he won't respond to my text. Yeah, that's like very niche, but
no, it's those little kind of funny. Those little moments that like don't even make it, that like can really just sorry, I just apologize again to you, Aliza.
No, it's all in the past. I mean, I think it's all like funny and funny games
I know,
now. So
I know.
Don't worry. No, don't worry. I get it. Sometimes you do things and you don't know like what the effects are going to be. And I also know that you felt like very backed into a corner because El Norte was like so down in numbers and you just wanted to like save your alliance numbers. So like I get that you were in a tricky situation. And I also get that you probably thought that Megan wouldn't, and like maybe Camila like wouldn't say anything. I think there were like a couple of factors that like maybe didn't like line up right. For example, like I think Camila really stressed how close she was with you, and then like before it leaked that you and Matthew and I were talking, like we really wanted to like fight for Camila, and I think maybe we like fought a little too hard for her maybe, and then once things leaked it kind of changed. But like I mean, you probably weren't alone in like sending up red flags to members of Tokidoki.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was at fault for that as well. And then you saw me get caught in the lie with Dale about whatever it was this week too. So I like didn't help myself.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Camila and her getting voted off. Because that was one of the things that we talked about a bit last episode, Aliza, is did you and Matthew ever seriously consider, like either flipping to save her or like really, really pushing to save her? And like what kind of happened with that?
Yeah, I really wanted to keep Camila because I saw her as really tight with Jack, and I figured if we all make it to merge, then I can flip. I definitely want, and I liked Camila a lot, and so I was very interested in keeping Camila, and I think Matthew was also interested in keeping her from the perspective of having numbers if potentially we wanted to make a move with Jack, whether like in whatever, maybe not flippings. I think Matthew had closer ties with like Dale and Jackson and whatnot than I did, but like, I think he saw her as more of a number than Katie. And so I think both of us really wanted to push for Camila. But Camila, the whole week was saying how tight she was with Jack. And they saw Jack as like the end all be all threat. And so I think if Camila had maybe distanced herself a little bit further from Jack, then it would have been maybe easier to have like saved her. Although I don't like saying saved, but to keep her around. And then I think when it leaked that Matthew and I were talking with Jack, I think then we quickly backed off and we're like, we can't put our necks on the line for her. But before that, like I was pushing, like I think there was even like a clip that made it into this past week was like of all of us in Dale's apartment, and we were like talking through things. And in that meeting, I feel like Matthew and I were pushing for Camila, but I don't think much of it made it to like the actual air.
And then also, how did you find out? Because I think I couldn't really fully understand how the chronology of things happened. Like, how did you find out that the Returnee Alliance had been leaked?
Gosh, I wish I remembered, because that would be kind of a funny story, I'm sure. I can't remember. I feel like, I think what happened was that like Katie said something to me, and I think Katie was like, so have you been talking to Jack? And I was like, no, of course I haven't been talking to Jack. And she's like, well, Jack apparently is saying that you guys are talking. And I was like, what? You're kidding? No way. Like, I think it was from that, but I'm not positive if that was the first time. But I feel like I remember that happening. So I think Katie heard it from Megan. I think Katie must have heard it from Megan. No, I also think there was more flows. I think Megan told Camila, and Camila, I mean, I guess you told Camila too, but I don't think anyone was very tight-lipped about it. So.
Yeah, I think the show makes it seem like it's very much just like Megan telling Jackson, but I feel like Megan told multiple. Yeah, and Megan also told like Shannon this week in this past episode.
She just tells everybody about it.
Yeah,
that just was right through her. No, yeah. And I think. It just to keep talking about this, but I just feel like we were all like, I don't really blame Megan for doing it, because I feel like she also realized how tight of a spot that she was in, where she didn't want to be. Like, I feel like she might have been playing it maybe. It's like hard to say, but like I think she might have had a better perspective at least than Camila did, because I feel like Megan at least wanted at least a little bit of separation between me and her, and like Megan I think probably knew that she wasn't going to be like my number one, like probably like my number two. And like she was, and like, you know, she's worried about me and the returnees. I can see why she would want to go out and do that, you know?
Yeah. I think that like, or sorry, finish though.
No, that's, yeah.
I think that Megan said this in this past episode, that she wanted to throw like threat onto like Matthew instead of you and maybe herself and some other people. And so she thought like putting targets on Matthew and maybe even me would have been like a good game move for her. I think maybe like the part of that she was probably missing was that had she not, I maybe would have flipped and that would have given her numbers, but that was never like something that would have been communicated to her. So like, again, that's like a place where I feel like even I could have done better or whatnot. That like there were a lot of like I see why she did what she did.
Yeah, so do I. And if I could have made it, like, I feel like I really stressed not to tell people, but like, yeah, I don't know.
So what did it feel like when Dale confronted you about lying to his face? What was that whole thing?
Oh my gosh, that's just funny to look back on. In the moment, I was probably really stressed about it. I think in my confessional, I was speed talking through it, which means I was really stressed about it. But I think I just like, I can't. What was it again it was that Matthew was talking to Jack? Or what was it that I like?
It was something. It was something about the Returnee Alliance.
It was like, that. I think that loosely. You hadn't talked to Matthew yet about it.
Yeah.
And then
Matthew told him that. Whatever it was. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That was just like really awkward, I think, and really funny. I don't know. It's really funny.
Like, do you just continue the conversation? Like how does the conversation go after that? Like
you hard pivot, Sam. You hard pivot and talk about something else. I mean, I think I very much knew that he like caught me, and he very much knew that he caught me, and it was just like it wasn't like I'm sure that I probably even said like that was so dumb of me. I'm sorry. Like I'm sure I don't know. I do think that's kind of funny looking back on it now. I think one thing I could have done better maybe is working on my relationship with Dale, because I think coming into the season, I wanted to like really reduce my threat level by not like talking with by not like being who I was on Sabu Sabu or whatnot. And I think one person who I maybe should have still done that with was Dale. I think Dale and I were still in an alliance, but I feel like if I had gotten maybe a little bit tighter with him, maybe things could have been a little bit different, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you and Dale always kind of had this like little like Cold War almost, where you're kind of like, I kind of think that Dale has the idol, and like Dale, and like I feel like there was a tribal council where like Cooper was asking like, oh, what's it like to be a threat as a returnee? And you were kind of like, well, Dale's the oldest and wisest.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I threw everything onto Dale. Yeah. No. All the time, my intention was to throw everything, like threat level, everything onto Dale was my goal. Yeah. Yeah, and I was pretty confident. I feel like that he had the idol, so I don't know.
Yeah,
and it was just easy to throw him as like a threat versus like someone else. So I don't know. I think like mitigating threat as returnee is a really delicate game. So
yeah,
I don't know if Jackie thought that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and just what you're talking about like, do I want to reach out to all these people, or is that going to be as like more of a threat, but also I need to have really good relationships to protect myself?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. It's like it's such a like delicate path to. Go down.
So let's pivot a little bit. Talk about some White Castle. Toki Doki
Never again.
Goes on a field trip.
Have you guys ever had it?
I like White Castle. I don't know. Maybe if I was on that tribe, I would have bonded with Dale over White Castle. Yeah. So maybe this is again the reason why I should have been just let myself be put on that tribe. Me and Dale create a White Castle alliance. You know.
Yeah.
I thought you were more of a croissant kind of guy, though.
Ooh.
I get a little like White Castle burger between two croissants. It's like a little breakfast burger. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I wasn't a White Castle fan. That bit was hysterical. That like awesome.
It really reminded me of season 3 where Will and Emily were both like kind of like crapping on Aaron's hamburgers. Like it's just I don't know what it is about like people like having just like horrible hamburger experiences on the show, but I don't know, maybe Aaron works at White Castle. Maybe she was like secretly they're behind the counter.
Yeah, it must have been no other explanation.
Jackson, you know they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I say that hatred's also in the eye of the beholder.
You do a good Jackson impersonation. That sounds like it.
I try. Not as good as Jack's Tom impression, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. Jack,
you
what
guys
would Tom say about White Castle? Oh, Goodwill.
Well, see, the thing is about White Castle is that all the cheese, the cup of cheese they put in the cheese, actually, if you look into it, actually mostly is goat milk. So that's not my best time. I need to get to a better time.
You want to put some lemon juice on the hamburgers, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
See if there's any secret messages in the buns that Erin made when she was flipping them.
I think Dale might have hit a clue for his own idol at White Castle because he wants to just show that he's like the most person. So maybe if that means that he is the king of the castles, that means his idol is somewhere in White Castle. We're hiding it. So Jack, I think we should go into White Castle and try to find it. That's
Tom is one of those people that I never got to know. It's a shame.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
But
speaking of hatred, I feel like there's a lot of hatred that goes around in this episode, especially coming from Shannon. I feel like Shannon is very much hating on a lot of people, and she's realizing that, it's okay to hate on people.
Shannon is like so funny.
He's so funny. He's definitely number one funniest on the season.
He's so funny.
Yeah, definitely number one. You're number two. You're close, but according to Shannon.
It's so funny because when you talk to her face, I feel like she's also different than how she is in the confessionals, but she's like hysterical both ways regardless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon. I love her quote that she had, like, I'm pretty, I'm funny, I'm humble, like, I'm the villain. You guys can talk as much crap as you want about me in the YouTube comments, and like, I don't even care. Like, like, I bring it on. Please say negative things about me. I don't even know her. She just like went off in this episode.
But has there been a single negative YouTube comment about her? I feel like everybody loves Shannon.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, just looking through it, I feel like
I think Shannon put like one negative comment about herself because that was the only one.
Oh no. That's funny. I haven't read the comments this season. It's been a test on my self-control, but
everybody's been loving you, Aliza.
No, this season I swore off reading comments. Last season I read every single comment. And this season I was like, never again.
Yeah, I mean, good for you. It's if you did read them, you would see a lot of very, very upset fans after this episode. But can totally see how it can be a good choice to not read them sometimes too. But if you read the comments, you would also see them talking about how Tokidoki didn't throw the challenge like they said they would.
Yes, they didn't throw the challenge like they said they would. Well, I think they tried. They just didn't put the right person on the puzzle. Yeah, they just needed to put somebody on the like not Nate, anyone but Nate on the puzzle.
Yeah.
It was actually funny because in the bit it like showed that Jackson was like, if there's a puzzle, put one of you guys on the puzzle. I didn't remember that, but I think they could have managed it had they not had him there doing that puzzle. He was so good. I'm impressed with that.
He was.
I wasn't even there.
Like we had maybe put someone other than Katie on the puzzle. I don't know. Maybe someone else could have done it faster as well.
That's true. Jack,
you weren't there?
Yeah, where were you?
I think, if I remember correctly, I think I was visiting. I think that probably was the weekend that I was visiting my mom, or like I was like spending a few days there, which lines up with
that tracks.
Yeah. So I think there was like really bad snowstorm in like the west side of Michigan, and like I just I really wanted to go, but my mom was like, Jack, you are not going. It is like so terrible out. You're going to get into a crash and die. And I guess I still, as a college senior, I still listen to my mom when she tells me not to do something. So, yeah, I wasn't able to make it back for the challenge. But, yeah.
You won anyway, so you didn't need to be there.
I think I do better at challenges that I don't go to than I do with challenges I do go to. So
Interesting.
I was just thinking about how in this challenge, though, like literally, just about every single person, it was like so many different people messed up the throwing plan. Like obviously putting Nate on the puzzle was bad, but like Ivy and Kat were throwing the balls. They could have just like never made them.
Never made it. Yeah.
But they made it. They did end up making all three.
Yeah, that's true. They shouldn't have done
Then Matthew couldn't get one in the bucket on the other side.
Yeah.
And then Katie gets up to the puzzle and she has like the whole tribe like leaning over her, like putting their like trying to like telling her 10 different things and like telling her what to do. No way that helps at all.
Yeah. I also think Katie, or finish, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know how I would be able to do a slide puzzle if I had three people like right behind me telling me like, no, move this here, move that there. Like, I would just be like, I just want to do it. Like, I can't have people tell me like what to do. Like,
yeah. I also think Katie really wanted to go on the slide puzzle because I think she thought, like, what if they throw the challenge again just to get rid of me? And so she wanted to be the last one up to bat like that. But I think like after we finished that challenge, like a couple people were like, I practice slide puzzles for fun. And it was like, well, why didn't we put you on the puzzle? But I think Katie probably really wanted to do it if I had to guess. Also, I'm sure she could have done it a lot better had all of us not been yelling at her. Because I know I was yelling at her. I'm sure I was screaming like, put it there, put it there. So
I'm sure Nate also was like, I need to do this slide puzzle. I know how to do puzzles. I'm doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was interesting, Jack, to see a challenge that you like had never seen in person before.
I remember just like waiting by my phone, waiting to get the text that if we were going to win or lose, because like I was very scared about going to tribal council. But it was very weird because I heard about Nate being the puzzle master. I heard everybody. There was the talk of the town. That's all everybody would talk about.
The puzzler. But he didn't get the idol though. Cooper just gave it right to Kat. He threw it to Kat.
It's her idol.
Oh yeah.
It's her idol.
What do you think would have happened if El Norte lost that challenge?
Yeah, that's an interesting detour to go down. I mean, it's really sounding like that Shannon would have flipped. Like, I feel like I did a good job of getting Shannon to be on my side, it sounded like.
Yeah. That's what I always thought. Like, I was like, if that could have happened, that would have been like a really interesting plot twist. But then it's like what I've kind of thought about in the last week or so was like, if Nate would have flipped, I don't know. If we would have someone going both ways, it would have been an interesting plot twist.
Yeah, I feel like Nate probably would have wanted to go against me too. I just feel like me and Nate just had like the worst relationship just because we had never been together on El Norte and we both had I guess we both hadn't voted for each other, but he had voted for me and I had almost voted for him, but then switched to Ben at the last second, obviously. But yeah, it just he probably would have flipped too, and it would have been this whole mess of would have been still a 3-3, yeah, like you're saying.
Yeah, or maybe Megan would have been the happy medium. I don't know.
Or would they have tried to have Nate plus Tokidoki and split votes on me and Megan because they really thought I had the idol? Thank you, Aliza. So but what if Shannon is pretending to go along with that and then goes to me and Megan and then all of a sudden it's another 3-2-1,
Yeah. That could have been a really dramatic tribal.
Yeah, that could have been really dramatic.
I feel like it would have been tough too because I would imagine that Jackson and Dale would be kind of pressuring from the other side of oh, you better get rid of Jack, getting in Shannon's ear about it. But also I feel like Kat also if Shannon wanted to flip, Kat would have also flipped along with Shannon.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Also, I don't know how much Ivy's feet were rooted in the ground. I don't know.
She really would have not wanted to vote off Nate.
I don't think she would have wanted to, but I wonder if she would have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been Megan. Maybe if they couldn't agree between
that would be
Nate
crazy.
and Jack, it would have been Megan.
And would have been in my best interest to pretend I had the idol and try to get them to split votes or something. I don't know. Because maybe Shannon would have stuck her neck out. I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But actually, going back, speaking of the idol, as much as I apologize to you actually having the idol and not me is what caused everything to happen. Because it was because I didn't find the idol at that tree with Megan based on that clue that I thought that Ben had the idol. So then I started not trusting Ben, which then caused Ben to want to flip on me with Nate and then blah, 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 blah. So
yeah, then everyone thought you had the idol.
Yeah, so then everybody assumes that because I told people for whatever reason that I found 2 idols in the previous season.
That's funny.
Probably something that would have been leaked anyways by one of you guys, but still, everybody just assumes, oh yeah, Jack has the idol, and I'm just because that's literally I feel like the first thing, obviously it's not shown in the episode cover time, but the first thing that any time I'd be in a meeting someone for the first time, I'm yeah, so do you have the idol? I'd be no, I don't, I really don't. I know no matter what I say to you, you're not gonna believe me, but I don't. Okay.
One interesting like social commentary thing that I've noticed from this season, and you guys can maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But I always find it really interesting that people always assume that the men have the idols and that the women would never, like, she's too dumb to find the idol. Like, I feel like specifically saying like Katie or Camila are too dumb to find the idol was said this season a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was like blatantly assumed the whole season that the men had the idols. And I just think it's interesting thing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely
I mean, it worked out fine for me, but like, it's one of those things that watching back, you're like, oh, that's annoying.
Oh yeah, it's very annoying. And like even I'm like, you know, I probably victim to that myself. Like I never thought you had the idol, maybe because I thought that you would have told me for some reason, or like I really thought that Dale like had it. If anybody on like if anybody from the other tribe had it, I don't know.
Yeah, Dale also showed signs that he had it. Like Dale would like have his tells or whatnot. Yeah.
You picked on it. You picked up on it. I did not pick up on any of those actual tells. That little foot twitch or whatever.
Yeah. But did you didn't meet with him, so I feel like that could be the difference.
Yeah.
You having the El Norte idol was very unexpected.
Yeah, a plot twist.
Well, I remember when I found that out. Oh my god. It blew my mind.
I'm honestly kind of shocked that nobody else from Tokidoki thought that, because like if our idol's on North, like obviously the other idol's on Central, and like I'm just surprised nobody else thought to look on Central, I guess, because none of us knew North Campus. So I don't know.
So
how did it feel to find an idol on day 2 of the game without a clue?
That was fun. I have to say, I put in a lot of hours in the freezing cold to put in that. So it was fun. But I feel like my season 3 idol, I was like really like I kind of lucked in. Like, I mean, I found it pretty fast, and so I kind of in some ways lucked into it in that way. But this idol, I feel like I really like put in a lot of time, so it was like rewarding in that regard to find it. Although the end result didn't turn out as well.
I actually take back what I said about being mad at you for finding it, because I feel like you did put in more time than me. Like, especially early on, like I feel like I was just like, it is so fucking cold out. Like,
yeah,
I mean, nobody's gonna be looking right now. I'm the idol master. I'll find it anyways.
Yeah.
No, but actually, a question that I had, I'm actually curious to hear your answer to, is like, do you ever regret like not telling anybody about your idol this time, or do you think that would have changed anything, or like, do you still feel like that wasn't your biggest issue?
I don't know. I think I just maybe have trust issues, and like telling somebody about the idol is just like, because I feel like when I look at Survivor as a whole, of when people tell people they have idols, I don't know. Maybe I look at it like in this regard. Like I see having an idol as like an inkling of power, and as like a piece of knowledge that you for sure only know, and you have a monopoly on that knowledge or that power in the game. And once you tell somebody about it, the idol, you lose that monopoly of the power or knowledge. And so I think that's why I don't do it, because I feel like I'm giving up so much control, and that's only something that could be used then against me. And I think that logic doesn't necessarily make sense, because in season 3, it probably would have helped me to have told Salvi. Like, it's a shock that they weren't mad at me for not telling them about that idol. But this season, I don't regret it as much. There was like a point after the game where Matthew was like, if you had told me about that you had the idol, I maybe would have told you to play it, because I think Dale had like said something kind of sketchy to him in the car ride over. And like right before Tribal, Matthew was like, Aliza, something is a little, and then like Matthew and Dale came out. I mean, and then Dale and Jackson came up the stairs, and he couldn't finish his sentence. But that was like the one thing I was like, well, maybe I should have told Matthew, but Matthew would have told Dale, who would have told Jackson, who would have told everybody. And I just feel like, I feel like, especially on Tokidoki, like, because we didn't go to Tribal, and because like we were all like tight, but not like super locked in with like alliances or whatnot. I feel like if one person knew, everybody would know. And that's also how I even felt on Sabu Sabu. And so I feel like that's why. And then with you, it's like you were a wild card. Like you were on the other tribe. Like who knew? Like we didn't have that like strategic relationship. So it was like a totally different situation. I feel like it felt like if I was telling one person, I was telling every person. And I didn't foresee being my idol right then and there. So.
No, that makes complete sense. I mean, obviously I'm one to talk. As I was pointing up to Sam, me telling Sam about my idol in season 2 was a fatal mistake for me. So, but I feel like no, go ahead.
I feel like it's a very tough thing in Survivor to know, like, what information to tell people, because like you can have intentions of, I'm just going to tell this one person this piece of information, but there's no way for you to know that person is going to keep it secret, even if like you really feel like you can trust them or really ask them like, just keep this between us. Like the second that like the information leaves your mouth and tells somebody else, it could just spread like wildfire. Because every time someone tells it to the next person, like there's less like importance of like keep this a secret.
And then it just becomes let's blindside her. So that's like where my fear in it comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that was your mistake in this game.
No.
I don't think it was my mistake in this game. Like maybe Matthew could have warned me or whatnot, but I don't think in this game that was necessarily my mistake. It would have had interesting ramifications had I done it. But I don't know if that's like a regret that I have necessarily. My regret would be not playing it, actually.
I mean, if we're going to talk about the strategy a little bit more for this episode, so yeah, let's go into all the stuff that's going on in your tribe. Katie has her survivor dream that she I'm not a goner anymore. I should have some more. Honestly, like also Katie, new hair Katie. She like changed her hair. She has a blonde hair now. Iconic fashion icon of the episode for sure.
For sure.
It was almost kind of like a Lord of the Rings reference. I feel like it was like Gandalf the Grey just died, and he's coming back, more powerful. Gandalf the White, like, this old Katie is gone. That's going to be like kind of just waiting around and like, oh, I don't know. I'm feeling bad about this vote or whatever. And she's like, no, I'm going to go out and do something about it.
Yeah. I respect the heck out of Katie. I really like her.
Yeah.
After I was voted out, I texted her, which is against the rules, I guess. And I said like, take the game by its horns. I'm rooting for you or whatnot. I think she's, even watching her back also, I feel like I've seen so much of her strategy and, I think very highly of her in the game that she's played.
Yeah,
Katie's just like one of the nicest people in this season, which I feel like is refreshing. I love that so many people this season.
Nice.
Yeah, they're so funny, and even though like they're like kind of like mean and like roasting each other all the time, but like Katie's whole thing, she's just very different. Like obviously, like you're like also known for being like I think probably both of you are known for like being very nice, even though Jack is. And this time I'm meaner, but Katie is like just. I feel like she's always constantly like, wow, I feel bad for like this person. Like she's always so sensitive towards people. It's like refreshing to see on Survivor where people are very cutthroat a lot.
Definitely. And I think she even like walked back to North or bused back to North, wasn't it? In like the second episode with Aaron after she was like out. Yeah. Like that's like so like not necessary, but like that was so nice of her to do it,
She felt bad for Tom because she's like, Tom voted for her to vote her off, and she was like, I feel bad voting for Tom because Tom wants to be here so badly.
I think she's probably the nicest of the season, like a very kind soul.
Yeah. So she approached you and Matthew and basically was saying, look, Dale and Jackson know about the Eternity Alliance. You guys should make the first move on them. And how did because I didn't really show you and Matthew's conversation about that. Like how did that go? Like what did you and Matthew talk about?
I don't know if Matthew and I ever like seriously considered it. I think a big part of maybe what Matthew was doing was like maybe playing her a little bit just out of fear that she had the idol or could be past the idol.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that's what a lot of people were doing this episode or whatnot, but I also think that if there was an alternative to voting out Katie, that would have been someone else other than like Dale or Jackson. I think we would have considered a bit more strongly since like our alliance had just been exposed. But I think that both of us saw Dale and Jackson as people who were like higher threats in the game than us, and that could be meat shields. And I think no one necessarily meat shields. And I don't think I didn't necessarily feel super secure in my relationships with Dale and Jackson, but I feel like I did feel like I needed to keep them around as meat shields for like a round or two longer. And I thought that they felt that way about me too. Like I never expected them to stick with me to the end, but I expected them to use me as like the returnee for like a little bit longer. And I just totally lost track of what your question was and where I was going. So I pivoted, but
that's
re-ask it.
You're totally fine. I was just wondering about like what was going through your head during that week, and that was basically it. So
I also think that week was like a tough week for me because I remember that my sister was in the hospital that week, and I remember Katie was like messaging me like let's talk, and I didn't see them flipping. I knew I wasn't going to flip. I knew she didn't have an idol. So I was like, I don't need to play this girl. Like, I don't need to like make her think that, you know, like throw her vote onto someone else because I didn't think she had an idol. And like, I was pretty confident that Dale had the idol and that I had her idol or whatnot. So I don't know. And then I think I was, I feel like it was a bad Survivor. Like, I don't think I played my best Survivor that week. I think I was very distracted with like life things that week as well. So I don't know.
That's the tough. It reminds me kind of Ben talking about the week that he was voted off in season 3.
Yeah.
Where like sometimes I feel like people forget about Call of Survivor. It's not like CBS where you're on an island and all you have is the game.
Yeah, you're like completely Yeah, Call of Survivor, you have like your life happening at the same time, and sometimes like life gets really crazy, and that definitely complicates things. Yeah, and I hate that excuse. Like, I hate it so much, but it like was definitely like what happened to me that week.
The factor, for sure.
Which is like I don't know, is a bummer, but I don't know. I also think even if my sister hadn't been in the hospital and I think I had like a big chapter of my thesis due, I feel like I honestly still wouldn't have seen that blind side coming. I think they just played a lot better than I did this week. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was tough because like Dale and Jackson obviously had some paranoia that, oh, what if Katie has the idol? Like someone could have given the idol to Katie.
Yeah.
So therefore they were trying to like, I feel like, both sides kind of had these like fake plan with Katie to get her to vote for the other side in case she had the idol. Yeah. But then like Dale and Jackson were seriously considering, I think because of the returnee thing, to be honest, but also I think part of it was that, part of it was also like seeing how big of a threat you were and how connected you were to everybody. Like, what if this is like the only chance we have to take out Aliza? Because to be honest, like, you know, considering if a merge is going to come up soon, I guess we'll see whether the merge is coming next or not. Like, I don't know how else they would get rid of you, given like the fact that pretty much everybody other side, except for like maybe Megan and Nate, like really wanted you in the game and like really wanted to work with you in the merge.
Yeah, it's so funny how like perception is everything, because I definitely didn't feel that secure at all. Like I was thinking in my spot, like how the heck do I get to the end from here? And so it's definitely funny to like hear how other people saw my position in the game, or even like watching it back and hearing kind of what people had said about me on top of that. But it's interesting.
I mean, definitely, like if you're going into a merge with an idol, that's already at least 1 week you have a safety if you know how to play it right. You play it right, but like that plus, you know, I think I definitely obviously wanted to do something with you. So, and if Shannon was on board, like we would have had I feel like that like an alliance of us 3 at the core. I feel like that would have been really fun. That
would have been so fun, and that's like what I wanted. So that would have been so great.
Like Megan was with you, Jack. Matthew would have probably linked up with you guys as well. Kat maybe would come along with Shannon. Maybe even like Ivy and Nate. Like, I feel like it's
Yeah. And it was interesting. I think for a second, we talked about this a little bit, but like it seemed like for a second that like Jackson was more leaning towards voting out Matthew this week, and then like when Dale was brought in, it seems like it was more pushed over to you. And like you were kind of saying like how you wish you had more of a relationship with Dale. So like I'm wondering like if that relationship that Dale, like if Matthew having close relationship with Dale might have actually been what kind of sunk you there, if you think.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that, because I mean, I think it would have been probably hard to top like Dale and Matthew's like bromance for me, even if I had like put in a lot of work with Dale. But I definitely think that relationship probably was a deciding factor. And I also think Jackson and Matthew had better relationship than me and Jackson, or me and Dale. And I also think Matthew's relationship with like Shannon, Kat, and Ivy was very different than my relationship with Shannon, Kat, and Ivy.
Right.
So I think, but I think maybe had I done better with Dale, maybe things could have been a bit different. But also, I don't know if I could have topped what him and Matthew had. So who knows?
I mean, it was tough given the fact that like in the earlier in this episode, you saw that you and Dale had this kind of awkward interaction where like he caught you in a lie, versus like Matthew and Dale, like they had this like Mad Men like alliance since the first day. I do want to give Matthew credit because I feel like I mean obviously I feel like part of the blind side too was the fact that you were seen as probably the bigger threat overall, just because of how many relationships you had on the other side. But I definitely want to give Matthew a lot of credit for his relationship with Dale, because I feel like even though maybe they saw you as a bigger threat, they were a little bit more afraid to make that move because, there's the damage. It blows up the game a lot more than if Matthew went. Less people maybe are going to be upset about it. But then I feel like that just was ruled out just because of the relationships that like Dale and Jackson, probably especially Dale, had with Matthew.
Yeah.
So even though this move was not good, it was not good for Matthew at all. Like he's definitely in a much worse position after this episode, but he is still at least alive. So
yeah. I gotta say, I was very shocked because in my book, I was like, there's no way that Dale and Jackson, because I knew that there were like weird things going on with Katie and who was telling who or whatnot, but I never actually thought that Dale and Jackson would go through with it because I thought that if they voted out either Matthew or I, it would have really pissed off everybody else. And like, what incentive then would they have to come back to them instead of flipping and working with Jack, for example? And so I was like, in my book, it was like, that would be such a dumb move. Like, why would they do that? Like, I really didn't see it coming in that way. And it'll be interesting to see kind of in the next couple episodes how it actually plays out. But I think that's another reason why I just really didn't expect it, because I didn't see them like willing to pull something like that. So I mean, respect to them, because that's like a big freaking move. So, and that takes guts to do. So good for them.
Yeah, it's a very big move for sure. I mean, like Tokidoki, I feel like this is the first time that Tokidoki has had something crazy happen, because they kind of had, won a lot of challenges, had kind of an easy Adam vote, kind of an easy Camila vote. And now it's kind of like, all right, Tokidoki's seen some of the chaos that El Norte was experiencing all along.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Wish you guys got to see more of this chaos before.
Yeah.
Okay, just one more hypothetical. I know we can get bogged down in hypotheticals all day, but like, what do you think would have happened if, say, the Returning Alliance didn't link or something happened and Katie was voted out last week instead of Camila? How do you think that would have changed this week if you guys go to the tribal council with you four plus Camila?
I mean, honestly, it's maybe they still vote me out. Who knows? Because apparently, like, why they voted me out had a lot to do with my relationships with others and not just you. But I think they were maybe wary of me and then became extra wary about me when they found out that I had a relationship with you, and then maybe extra wary about me when I lied about it to them. I feel like maybe they wouldn't have wanted to do the move so soon had they not known that I had a relationship with you. And then maybe it would have just been the clean vote on Katie, but also who knows? I don't know.
What if it's Camila there? Like, I feel like Camila then would now obviously would not want to vote for you if it's just like you four plus Camila. Like, she definitely doesn't want to vote for you if she knows that me and you are close. I mean, I guess depending on if I actually told her or not in this weird hypothetical universe that we don't have to get too deep into. But like, I'm just curious if do you think you would have wanted to maybe flip with Camila if you, Matthew, and Camila voting one of them out?
I think the odds of me flipping with Camila are better. And I also think maybe one difference between Katie and Camila is that, I mean, obviously this is a hypothetical also, but I think the odds of Camila telling me, like, point blank, Jackson and Dale are going to vote you out are much higher. Like, I mean, Katie obviously didn't tell me that. And I think Camila would have told me that. And I think hearing that extra push of, like, they said they're voting for you would have made me flip as well. And then also I think it would have been like one more round till merge. I would have wanted to have kept Camila as a number. I never really felt great about my relationship with, like, Jackson, for example. And so I think at that point, if it was Camila instead of Katie, I feel like a move could have been made. But, yeah. So too bad, I guess. I don't know. This is the thing: is it's so easy to be like, you ruined my game. But I also was very much part of ruining myself, I think.
Yeah.
So.
That certainly didn't help, though.
Yeah. No, I had like a number of things though that I'm sure I could differently.
I'm also curious, if you'd gone, gotten to the merge, what would have been kind of your post-merge plans? Like, who would you want to take to the end? How would you have tried to navigate
to the I really loved Shannon. I think I would have gone far with her. Like, I think had both of us made it to the merge, I would have really liked to go far with her. I think definitely for like the beginning part of like early merge or whatnot, I think would have wanted to work with you, Jack. And I think
even though you said that you wanted to vote me out at the start of this episode,
in this hypothetical relationship where you don't leak a relationship, I did really want to work with you.
Well, let's just say everything exactly happens exactly the same, except last second Dale and Jackson get cold feet, and they're like, "All right, let's just vote out Katie." And like, so you're still mad at me.
I'm still mad at you. Yeah. Honestly, I was still ready to go. I think I probably recorded that confessional I ranted on you like seconds after I found out or whatever. I think like that was a heat of the moment confessional. And I think I was so ready to stir things up. And that also like, even though that happened and that was like a big trust issue, I never felt like I had full trust with Dale or Jackson. So it wasn't like they were a safe option to stick with because I never felt like they would take me to the end. And I feel like you play very different. Like you are also maybe a social player. Maybe that's part of the difference. But also I feel like when you pick someone who you trust, you really trust them. And I feel like Dale and Jackson are like willing to flip on their best friends and things like that. And maybe you would have been willing to flip on your best friend as well. But I think maybe my perception of you was different of my perception of them. And so I also think I wanted fun people. I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to stir the pot. Like, I honestly think had I made it to the next round, I would have flipped, despite my rage at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, I think I could have soothed you down. I could have talked you off the ledge.
I think you could have. Yeah. I also think, like, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that I think I would have flipped. So I definitely think had we gone into the merge together, that something, I feel like it was just time for something. I mean, maybe not for you, like you had a lot of fun on El Norte, but I feel like I was ready to like
I had so much fun already.
Yeah.
So how did playing season 4 compare to playing season 3?
I mean, it's hard to beat your first season, I feel like. And with season 3, there were so many things and so many like people and alliances and like fun things that happened that just like made it so great. I think one of my favorite things about Survivor is like when you get the chance to be scrappy, and I feel like I had so many opportunities to be scrappy, and like there's nothing quite like the feeling of like being scrappy and then surviving. Like that's just like what makes Survivor so thrilling.
Yeah.
I don't think I got that experience from season 4 as much. And so I think season 3 will always like be like the prime of the prime, but there's also like a great season 4, like a great cast, like a great group of people. I think I just didn't go through like the bonding factor that like I went through on week 1 with Sabu that I did with like Tokidoki, you know, very different situations. So I think like season 3 will always be like my number 1, but season 4 was definitely still a good experience and whatnot. Fun game, fun people, fun season. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Jack, what do you think about? I mean, I know your game is unfinished yet, but how do you feel like season 4 and season 2 stack up?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to say definitively with more stuff going on in the future, but like I feel like nothing actually really like. I think I kind of agree with you in that there's nothing that like beats the feeling of being scrappy, and I feel like my most scrappiest to this point, like including season 2, was the Ben vote, and just like I feel like that is like, at least to this point, was like my peak Survivor experience. Like just like knowing that like your ass is up against the wall and like saving yourself like that. So like, and I feel like I definitely, you know, like we've said a lot, is that El Norte had a lot more chances for those scrappy moments than Tokidoki did. So I feel like I've definitely, season 4 definitely, you know, has already been full of those moments for me. So
yeah.
But also season 2, of course, great. Like 2 of my best friends I met on season 2, and I've been doing this podcast with them ever since. So of course I love season 2 a lot too.
Yeah. No, it's really nice.
I love the comparison of El Norte to Sabu because like I didn't ever think about that before. Like, but
I thought about it a lot during the season. I thought it would have been so fun to be on El Norte if I had survived. I mean, if I got voted out, I'm sure we would have done that. But I just think it adds like that fun element of surviving.
The underdog kind of thing. Yeah.
The scrappiness, like what we were talking about. Yeah, all of that.
All right. Sorry, I have one more hypothetical. I know we can. so many hypotheticals, but what do you think would have happened? Because I think we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. We weren't entirely sure. What would have happened if El Norte didn't come to a decision on the warrior group thing? Like, who would you guys have picked, and what do you think would have happened on that tribe?
You definitely would have been picked, Jack. Like,
yeah, I know 0%, I would have.
Yeah. And then I don't know who the other person would have been picked with. The interesting thing that happens with that, I would say, is if it is me, Jackson, Dale, Matthew, you, and whoever else from El Norte, like, it is interesting to think, like, what would Matthew and I have done in that situation? And I feel like that would have been, I don't know, because I guess maybe Matthew and I would have fought to not put you on that tribe. But I also think that it would have been hard not to, because everyone was so like, put Jack on that tribe, throw the challenge, vote him out. Like, I feel like your threat level was astronomical, according to Tokidoki. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like maybe in that situation, that's a trickier one, because that's like still early game, and that's like so far from like merge and end game. And one of my things coming into season 4 was like, don't make a move early, make a move at merge, because that's what bit me in the ass in season 3. But I also feel like it would have been hard for me and Matthew. Like, I can't see either of us wanting to do that, because I think Matthew really wanted to keep his doors open with you, and I wanted to keep my doors open with you, because from our perspective, it was so great to have 2 different options of like the U option and the Tokidoki option. And we wouldn't have wanted to put ourselves in a situation where we would have wanted to have to choose. But in that situation, we would have. And I feel like I would have flipped, because I was just ready to go. But I think it probably would have been a harder decision. I don't know. That would have been a trickier decision.
It probably depends on who the person is with me.
It probably depends.
If
we picked Nate, like, I feel like we could have flipped it on. I feel like you could have gotten out Nate first.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, if it's Camila with me, like, it also means
Camila would have been hard.
Yeah, but like, she definitely, like, at least would have been a number to vote with us. Like, but we can go down these roads forever. But it's just like interesting to think about.
No, that is interesting to think about, because Camila would have stuck with you, whereas Nate would have like flipped maybe to Tokidoki. So I think if it was Camila, then maybe Matthew and I could have really flipped. But maybe if it was Nate, that would have also been challenging. I don't know. You have to ask Matthew these questions if you have the podcast. It would have been interesting to kind of hash it out, the 3 of us, maybe with Matthew, and see what his thoughts on all these things were. Because I don't know how ready he was to flip, but I feel like, because again, he had those better relationships with like Dale and Jackson or whatnot. But I feel like I was ready to get there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that would have been an adventure.
Yeah, I can see why you guys didn't want me to be on that tribe. And like, I feel like both of you told me, like, do whatever you can to not be on that tribe. You don't want to have to make that decision.
Yeah. Crazy that people even volunteered. It's crazy, I think, that Katie and Camila volunteered.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated thing. I mean, that I tried to do is get them both to agree to that. But
no, I think that is pretty amazing that was able to happen. With Katie, I get it a little bit more, but with Camila, that's pretty impressive that you were able to get her to go on the tribe, maybe, or maybe she felt like guilty. I can't remember what she said in the episode, but
I mean, I definitely played up. You know, her being.
You're saying she didn't want you to be on the tribe, No, you played it well. Interesting. I'm trying to think if I have any more hypotheticals for you. I feel like I probably have so many, but I don't know. I don't know. Because I feel like in all my hypotheticals, I probably still flip, and that's what you're going to say, that you would try to get me to flip.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if you would have been like, so do you want to flip? And I would have been like, yeah, let's go. You probably would have been like shocked. Like, okay, that was easy.
All right.
Would have been fun.
I guess, that makes it's an very interesting move by Jackson and Dale, like, because obviously I want to give a lot of credit to Katie for how she played this week, but I mean, this move would not have been possible if Jackson and Dale didn't decide to make this. And like, for them, as on one hand, it's like, with how much you're saying, you definitely would have flipped making a merge. I feel like, okay, in that sense, you had an idol and you're thinking of flipping, and you also had a very strong connection with people. In that sense, it makes it seem like a very, very good move. But in the other sense, it's also like dangerous. Very much damaging a lot of relationships, potentially making a lot of people upset at them. So it's a very, very interesting move in that it's like, I feel like if they keep you versus if they don't keep you, like either way, it has a very big effect on the game. Like I feel like this was definitely a turning point in the game, like inflection point, whatever you want to call it. Like regardless of like whether it's you or Katie, I feel like that's a very important tribal council because the game I think could take so many different directions after that. So I mean, like you guys losing that challenge was definitely a huge thing that happened.
Yeah.
Which also funny, Nate. I think it's funny that Nate, like he kind of is like silent for a few episodes, and all of a sudden he just like does one little thing that like is really chaotically like changes the game. Like with the whole like Ben vote, Ben being the puzzler and putting all the puzzle pieces together. It's funny how those domino effects happen.
Definitely. And I agree. I think we have to give a lot of props to Dale and Jackson because I think it's easy to, I mean, it's so much harder to make a move when your back's not up against the wall. Like they didn't need to do it then. It's not like they were in imminent danger, but they still like made a big move. And I think that's not knowing what the consequences would be with a lot of their allies. And so I got to give them a lot of respect for making a bold choice. You know, I think that's something to
definitely. It's definitely a big move. I think time will tell whether it was a smart move.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I don't know. Anything else? Any other thoughts on the season? On your experience?
Any last thoughts? I don't know. It was, I'm glad I did it. I feel like initially I was like unsure. I was like, I just came off season 3, you know, I'm really happy. I mean, I know I didn't get as far as maybe I wanted to in season 3, but I was happy maybe with the experience. And so coming in, I was like, should I play season 4? I don't know. It's such a quick decision. And, I'm definitely glad that I did it and saw what happened. And, you know, I don't know, had the whole shebang. It was fun. I don't know, Jack. I mean, I guess you maybe had come on. You had like a year maybe to rest on it. Or were you just like, let's go, let's play?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have like hesitancies coming in as a returnee as opposed to like? I had a lot of hesitancies being a returnee instead of like, and you know, like I feel like being one of 4 it's hard.
I was definitely very nervous coming in, but I think I almost. Probably both me and Matthew are almost kind of the reasons the season even happened. I feel like both of us just itching to play again. And I feel like I've been like literally asking so much like, hey, can I play again? Can I play again? It's All-Stars going to be season 4. Can we do it a season 4 All-Stars? Please, 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 please. I want to play again before I graduate. Please, please, please. So yeah, I don't know. Just for whatever reason for me, I just was like, I felt like I definitely feel like I had a ton of unfinished business from season 2. And I was just like, I want to go out and do it again and try to change some things. It seems like you said, seems like I'm not learning from a lot of my mistakes. You know, it was the thing he did last time wrong and he's still doing it again.
Maybe next time, if you're ever on CBS Survivor, I'm rooting for you to find an idol and not tell anybody. Or like rooting for you to not tell. I don't know. It will happen.
Thank you, Aliza. Would you ever play any reality TV game again, whether CBS Survivor or anything like that?
Oh gosh, CBS Survivor is still the end-all be-all dream. I feel like it's so funny because with these things, it's like it's so much of a dream and you want it so bad, but at the same time, it's like so scary because the thought of like being. And this is, I also think maybe it's a fear factor, or maybe I question season 4, but like the thought of like being the first one voted out or just like not doing well is like so devastating when it's such a huge goal. But at the same time, like I would never be able to turn it down. Like I feel like to be on to play and to like get that, like the whole experience is like got to be on like top 3 bucket list, you know. All my friends like know me as the person who's obsessed with Survivor. I got a lot of people to watch it over quarantine. It's been like one of those like weird things coming out of quarantine that everyone's watching Survivor. Everyone's been texting me, telling me their favorite characters, and I'm like,
that's so great.
Right. You heard it, Jeff Probst. Aliza wants to get on the season. She's been the fan favorite of these past couple seasons of Survivor Michigan. You gotta get him. Gotta get her on there. Come on.
Yeah, you two too. We could like have another secret alliance.
Exactly.
This time we really keep it a secret. Yeah.
True. But if Megan is also cast, though, we cannot tell her about
her.
We
cannot tell Megan. Yeah.
Don't tell Megan out first.
Yeah. Okay. CBS Survivor, where it's all like college players.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They could get a good cast out of that. For dang.
They could easily.
Yeah.
You'd really
get it.
Aliza, it's been such a wonderful time seeing you play. I know that you didn't make it as far as you wanted to, and the way you got voted off with an idol was really hard to watch. But I'm so glad that you played again. You're always just like such a fun presence to have on screen, like at all times. Like there's a reason you're like one of the biggest fan favorites of the whole entire series. Like people were devastated when you went home. So I feel like, although you didn't make it all the way, I think that everyone that watched this season would way rather have had you make it 6 episodes than not have played at all. So really happy that you played again and had this experience and still had a lot of, iconic moments finding that idol on day 2. It's crazy. You got to go to the castle, so had some great moments still.
Well, that's very kind. I'm very sorry to all the viewers if I talk too fast to understand and/or if I did it on this podcast as well. It's a thing I'm working on, but yeah, it was a blast to play, and I'm glad that I did it. And it's been nice catching up with you guys about it, Jack. It's been nice rehashing everything. I feel like we can laugh about it all now. So,
definitely. I'm still gonna apologize though.
You don't need to. Don't worry. It's all fun and games. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been wonderful talking with you, Aliza. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for filling in for Sarah. Appreciate you. Appreciate you entertaining Jack and I here.
Anytime. Hopefully Sarah gets settled well in San Diego. Tell her I say hi on the next podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
All right.
Bye.
Peace out. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's so good catching up with Aliza. I'm definitely glad that she doesn't hold a grudge against me for inadvertently ruining her game. I mean, she's just so great to talk to.
I know. Best homework partner you could ever ask for.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. The only thing is, sometimes when you have an exam, you kind of wish you shared more of your studying tips with each other.
Exactly.
Than you did. You're like, man, maybe we could have done a little bit better if we'd shared some more of the answers. But hindsight's 20/20, as they say. You want to? I think we should go ahead and eulogize Aliza.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Aliza is always so fun to have on TV. It's like she reminds me of Liz in some ways, in that they both of them kind of had this really had this huge fan base that loved watching them. They kind of went out in a really tough blindsided with an idol.
Yeah.
And it was just it was so devastating seeing how she went out. I think it's really hard to play as a returnee in a season with 16 people, because I don't know if Aliza would have the same target on her back if she was just a regular player in this season. But I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking about her game, and I feel like one of the things I noticed from both times she was voted off is just maybe being a little bit too trusting of her allies. This is the thing about Aliza that makes her such a good player socially, that everyone loves her because she's such a loyal alliance member. And people, even if she can lie about things, she can lie about whatever, having the idol to Savu Savu, and she's just so likable that people don't even care, and and she's so loyal. But I feel like sometimes that loyalty can end up being your downfall, where Aliza kind of had that trust in Aaron that didn't end up paying off. Aliza kind of had that trust in Dale and Jackson, which I guess she was saying that she didn't necessarily trust them as much as it was she thought that them flipping would be a bad move for them. But It's tough. I feel like there's not too much a critique with Aliza's game other than if you have that kind of, if you're as good of a player as Aliza, it's just so hard to like get the target off of your back, because people are eventually gonna like identify that and try to blindside you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough. It really feels like she kind of got voted out before she could really start playing hard. And I feel like she definitely talked about that, how she feels like she wasn't able to really scramble as much in this season and like get to feel like she was really playing hard. Yeah, it is really hard to critique a lot. I feel like something that like we talked about, like something that we both maybe could have done better was be better cross-tribe allies to each other strategically. And like, I feel like obviously we both could have been better at that, but it's hard to really say, exactly where she went wrong, like specifically, like in a single moment. Because there's just a lot of things that went against her. And sure, she didn't play perfectly when she was kind of starting to get her back up against her wall about her really knowing it, like, just, lying to Dale and then him immediately realizing that she's lying, just like stuff like that. Like she probably didn't play this week the best, but also it's hard to really think of just an easier way to fix that, based on like what she knew and like how the game was going and like how she came to this game with the threat of being a returnee.
Aliza, I think she's one of like the all-time, she's got to be one of the all-time greats of Survivor Michigan.
Oh my gosh,
and I really do think if she had made it past this tribal and made it to emerge, she would have it would have been very, very hard to stop her. And I think that Jackson and Dale were right in that they were saying like, I don't know when we could, and Katie too, and they were saying like, I don't know when we could get Aliza out before the final.
Exactly.
And I really think that she could have made a very, very deep run this season. So
I think it's the comparison with Liz is pretty apt because I feel like they are two probably of like the best social players to play Survivor Michigan. Like they are just so instantly likable from your first conversation with them, and just you want to work with them. Like I think I even said it in the show. I was just like, I know that she's a good player because like we just had this meeting like one of the first weeks and I'm like, we gotta get this together. So it's just. She's just able to make connections with like anybody, and maybe she would have put in a little bit more work with Dale or Jackson. She could have broached the bromance factor, but sometimes it's hard to do that. And through no fault of her own, she got voted out. Maybe a little fault of her own, but like she is just such an absolute Survivor Michigan legend who easily could have made it super far in this game if she survived this vote.
Yeah. So sadly, we will have to place Aliza into the 11th place rankings, or not going to be placing her into the first place rankings. But it's actually very funny. I was looking at the people that got 11th place, and it literally Ben and Matthew and Aliza are all 11th place finishers.
Whoa!
Which is kind of funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, we have Chidi in third place, Ben in second place, and Matthew in first place.
I mean, I think we can instantly just put her past Chidi and Ben. I mean,
sure we can put her past Chidi? Chidi definitely.
I mean, wait, I thought we had Chidi in first place above Matthew.
Oh, that's right. That was
Chidi was in first. You're looking at the rankings in the wrong order.
Obviously that's
yeah. But no, I mean it's Chidi. She's great, but definitely going up against Aliza. And Ben, such a great character, but I feel like especially his first season, too chaotic strategically.
Yeah, I feel like if you're looking at Ben season 3 versus Aliza in season 4, Ben got. I feel like Ben made more mistakes than Aliza did.
Definitely.
Like Ben was definitely. He had done, I guess, because I feel like we always talk about the Ben bomb as being a very controversial thing, but that didn't even happen until after he was voted off. Like, exactly. I always think, I feel like I always remember his season 3 game being more chaotic than it actually was, because I feel like his big thing was turning on Will as early as he didn't really help his game. And it kind of ended up blowing it up, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about Aliza having the problem of trusting people too much and like wanting to keep working with them for too long, Ben definitely has the opposite problem.
Yeah, and I think that usually in Survivor, it's probably better to be too trusting than too chaotic and paranoid.
Yeah, you're at least gonna
yeah.
You're at least gonna make it further on our classic 100 simulated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw Tom and Adam are prime examples of what happens if you're a little bit too paranoid and chaotic. So Matthew in season 1 versus Aliza. So to be clear, in these rankings, we're only ranking season 1 version of Matthew and season 3 version of Ben versus season 4 version of Aliza. It's like confusing because there's all these people have played twice, but we're ranking like their first different seasons of them. But season 4 Aliza versus season 1 Matthew.
See, this is definitely tough because I feel like Matthew was set up in a pretty good position, within the Maison Alliance. Maison 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it is starting to get to the point where I can't remember all the exact specifics now.
I mean, yeah, me neither.
Like 2 years since I like watched this all, but I mean, Matthew definitely was playing a very smart game. I feel like in season 1 before kind of getting swap screwed a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it wasn't as much.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember him getting voted off because of like some really crazy, like Tarowski gave Angela his idol and whatever crazy stuff happened to get Matthew out. Because Aliza in season 4, I'm trying to think, like, I feel like also part of my perception is so skewed by like how legendary Aliza was in season 3.
Yeah.
But in season 4, she's still the same player, but like I'm trying to think, the most of what she did in season 4 is she had a lot of relationships. She had an idol. I guess like she did vote off 2 people pretty easily. She didn't have as much of a chance to like pull off moves, but I'm trying to think if Matthew in season 1, did he have as many relationships as Aliza had in season 4?
Yeah. I just like, I keep thinking of how primed Aliza was, like for Emerge.
She was
able to make a run. Like she
set herself up very well.
Yeah. I really just feel like she was just like at the runway to like take off, and her plane exploded before it could leave the ground. But if the plane was in the sky, it would have gone to Mars.
That's true. She would have been first person to set foot on Mars before Elon or Jeff Bezos even got there. I guess I guess think about it this way. This is kind of the spot of the people that got taken out, right before the merge or right at the merge. Matthew and Aliza were both like kind of taken out right before the merge. Which of them would have been more set up? And both of them kind of got taken out by like kind of unpredictable thing happening that like going into tribal, neither of them expected to happen. So let's say that crazy situation didn't happen. Who is set up better to win the game?
I just feel like I feel bad because I feel like my memory of season 1 is getting too hazy now.
I know. I feel like I gotta say, I mean, Matthew is in the Maison Alliance, which I feel like they definitely would have done. I mean, we saw they did really well.
Yeah,
a lot of them got really far. But was Matthew set up as well? Matthew didn't have an idol, whereas Aliza did. Aliza had not only a bunch of relationships on Tokidoki, but also on El Norte with like you and like Megan by proxy. Versus, I don't know if Matthew had as many Neela connections.
Yeah. But I also feel like Aliza's threat level was a bit higher. Like I feel like Matthew, if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't really taken out because he was Matthew Israel. He was kind of more taken out because of this crazy thing happening, and they needed to have a Maison to vote for, and he was kind of the most one. It wasn't like they were specifically like, oh my god, if Matthew Israel makes the merge, he's going to be crazy. So like, going to the merge of season 4, you can definitely see, even if Aliza does make it to the merge, like Jackson and Dale are already pretty skeptical of her, and like you can easily see them, or at least some like coalition possibly forming against her or wanting to, blindside her before she makes it too far. Like
it's true.
there's a chance that she probably survives a few rounds, but like maybe she gets taken out at like round 8 place again.
That's true. Maybe it's very hard to tell.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell because that's true. I feel like Aliza was definitely set up better than Matthew, but I don't know if that means that if that doesn't mean that she's going to be winning the game because she also has a way bigger target in her back than Matthew did. Honestly, I want to I feel like it's kind of a hot take to put Matthew season 1 ahead of Aliza, but I'm also thinking Aliza did make the returnee alliance stuff did kind of hurt Aliza. Like the lying to Dale's face and getting caught by it and not really having a great relationship with Dale. That's probably her biggest mistake in season 4 because that definitely did not help. And I don't know if Matthew ever had a mistake like that where he kind of had a blind spot, like a person that he that kind of wanted him, that it did not trust him at all, and that's kind of the reason that he was targeted.
And I know there are obviously extenuated circumstances of her sister being in the hospital, but I also get the feeling that she could have played it with Katie better to make Katie feel like Aliza was more on her side, or at least not kind of I feel like Katie kind of saw through Aliza and knew that she was kind of brushing her off and leading her along, her and Matthew both. I don't know. I feel like we're talking each other into putting Matthew first, which is kind of surprising to me.
To be honest, though, Aliza, I feel like the move that she needed to make was her and Matthew. I don't know how we didn't really talk about this very much, but her and Matthew had to flip with Katie. Katie gave them a warning. Katie went to them first.
Yeah, that's true.
And Katie said, Jackson and Dale don't trust you. They know about your attorney alliance. And Aliza and Matthew kind of just shrugged it off. But that was their chance to do something. And honestly, they had Katie on their side and they just didn't do it. And I really think that's the mistake that cost Aliza the game.
Right. Because Katie didn't even Jackson didn't even reach out to her until very late. If they had locked something in with Katie and Jackson comes at the last minute, but if they have been so secure with Katie, Katie's just gonna be okay, Jackson, I'm gonna do that. And then what if they were able to lock that in as the first people to go to? Yeah, we should have probably talked about that more. I didn't even really think about that much. It's a really good point, Sam.
And I think that's kind of encapsulated by what we were saying about Katie and Aliza being too trusting of Jackson and Dale. That she just didn't consider that because she trusted Jackson and Dale. But I think that she should have kind of seen the warning signs because she said she didn't trust them. She knew that they didn't trust her. There's this returnee stuff going around. She's already thinking about flipping anyways. I think you got to make the move right now. And I think that Aliza had more of a chance to save herself than Matthew did.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
So I feel like I can see kind of putting more blame on Aliza for her elimination than I can for Matthew.
Are we going to get hate mail for putting Matthew above Aliza?
We very well might. Sarah's going to come back
be what have you guys done?
What did you guys do? Yeah. The second I leave, this is what you guys do with the rankings. I think that's we're gonna. I think that we're really gonna do this though.
All right. Yeah, maybe we can wait till Sarah can put her 2 cents in next week. But for now, let's do it. Let's do it, Sam.
We're doing it. We're going for it. We're going against the masses. We're gonna put Aliza in second place, Matthew in first place from season 1, Aliza from season 4. Then Ben from season 3, and then Chidi from season 2. She did not.
Chidi from season 9 when she wins. Oh my god! Oh shit! Are we recording?
Oh no, Jack.
Oh my god! Okay, sorry.
When her plate, the paper plate, matures into a full idol for Island of the Idols, Michigan season 9.
Yeah.
Chidi plays it successfully at Tribal Council and
God, that was such a cool Tribal Council.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's spoil it for you guys now, but look forward to that one day when Chidi wins Survivor Michigan. Until then, though, Chidi is 4th place in the 11th place rankings. There we go. So we have a little break here. Next episode, we have the pre-merge podcast on Wednesday, and the next episode is a week from after that.
Oh wait, so is it if the pre-merge podcast is on Friday? Does that mean is the merge coming up, Sam?
Whoa, is it now? I think that's not necessarily a secret.
Did Matthew Israel make the merge?
Did he though?
God, just one last thing. I did not realize how close it really was to Matthew Israel not making the merge 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I would have felt so bad for him. I mean, I feel so bad for Aliza, but I would have felt somehow even worse for Matthew.
Oh my God, the lion. All right. Well, yeah, I'll see you then, Sam, and hopefully we'll see Sarah too.
I know, hopefully she'll be back from the market.
Mm-hmm. It can take a while. You can get stuck. Can't blame her.
Get stuck in the market sometimes. And sometimes you're stuck at the market and you miss the immunity challenge because of some snow. This is how it goes. But all right, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Peace.